Discount Podcast.
Welcome in, you cheap beggars, to Discount, the bargain bin gaming podcast hosted by three hosts so cheap even game wouldn't buy them. We're here for January free plays and freebies. It's our chill, less fighty episode, and always a good time. Always a good time. I am one of your hosts. I am Josh, and plugging into player 2.
I'm Darren. Hello. And scrounging in the plastic buckets under the shelf for £2 PS Vita games.
All right, you slags, it's me. It's Cerys.
Who has now become bold and 6'3".
Yep.
I am.
Yes.
I'm a geezer now, is what I am.
There was a major development between the two episodes. It was very confusing.
I mean, if you want to check out more, check out Resi 2 Part 4, where she slowly becomes more and more geezer.
It's because I go to the gym now, guys. I'm a fucking weapon. I could knock a 6'3".
And as you can tell,
out.
she doesn't talk about anything else but it. What a shame.
Fucking.
What a bad
I'll
person.
knock you out now, no.
What a bad person she is. But yes, here we are with free plays and freebies, where we talk about all things gaming news, what we've been playing, PS Plus, good or bad, that sort of things. But anyway, how's everyone's January going? Going well? How did it go?
It's a solid January.
Solid January?
Yeah.
Quick and tiring.
Quick and tiring.
Yeah, it's been busy as fuck in work, so...
I'm glad you clarified, because there was a plethora of jokes we had there for quick and tiring.
Yeah. Something about the time you've been spending with Jim.
Yes, yeah. But it was too easy. Like Jim.
Like Jim.
Who is quick and tiring.
For fuck's sake.
Should we jump straight...
He's a lovely man.
A gaim? Oh, a gaim. Should we jump into the news of the month then?
Yeah, let's do it.
Before the episode, we always talk about like news articles we're going to cover, what we're going to do. I originally thought there wasn't a huge amount of news this month, but it's because you think about it over the course of one day and you go searching for it and he goes, did you mean news of the day? You're like, no, not news of the day, news of the whole month. But actually there was quite a lot of development wise. But should I start off with, should we call it the most non-news news of the month?
Always.
We need a jingle for it, Cerys. Sing something.
Most non-news news of the month. Do, 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 do.
Perfect. Production values out of our asses.
That's now being clipped into every episode.
Yeah, no, that's great.
What I was watching there was, instead of Cerys turning away from the mic when she was laughing, she turned and pushed her face further into it to laugh.
I love the jingle.
Do you know what? In this podcast, I get interrupted, I get talked over.
So anyway...
by my own husband.
Jim would never treat her like this.
And now I can't laugh. Jim treats me better than this.
But the...
Did you do it again?
Yeah, I'm trying to move it on. I'm trying to move it on from complaints.
He's living in the news.
Yeah, the fake news of the month, which was, there was an article that came out that 2 Point, which are the parent company of Rockstar, were looking ready to sue Remedy for their logos, because Rockstar's logo is a white R with a star at the bottom of it, and Remedy have recently changed their logo about 2 years ago, because the 2 years ago was in a bullet with an R in it, because they were Max Payne based, but now they've sort of moved on, so it's this sort of like black and white R that sort of stuttered across.
I feel like it says a lot about who I am as a person, that for a minute I was like, that's not the Rockstar logo, and then realised that I was thinking about the energy drink.
Yep, that does explain an awful lot about you.
Wow, I am a trash person.
Jim doesn't think so.
No. He's a good man.
He's a better man than the rest of us. But what happened, it came out and everyone's reporting that they were suing them. Then it came out and Rockstar basically went out and said, no, we're not. And Remedy went, they are. This was actually solved 2 years ago.
Yep.
And nothing's happening. It's just they're like filing the legal precedent that has happened.
I was confused because I was sure I heard this news story 2 years ago.
It was stuff like IGN and all of those went, oh no, what's going on? And it was nothing.
I imagine it was. Do you know when someone's really late to the party? Like an IGN journalist saw the 2-year-old article, missed the date at the top, and went, oh fuck, why is nobody reporting this?
It's because it's January, they got confused what year they were in. They're like, oh no! They're busy like titling it as 2022, they've gone back in time, it's all very confusing for them. But yeah, that was our most non-news news of the month.
Cerys, jingle again.
I've forgotten how it goes. No news of the month. Do, 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 do.
Perfect, brilliant, loved it. I can't wait for the remix.
I know.
Oh my god, please make it like a dubstep.
I'm using the laugh as the beat.
I I love the fact that you've moved. You think you now can like be like a producer.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, I record this podcast. That's like one step towards
What we
music.
really need is somebody who's in like a deathcore band to do the no news at the back.
What's Jim doing?
Jim is more of a country man.
I see.
Six fingers.
Yeah.
So I'm going to move forwards into something that I don't think either of you have a lot of information on, but
I might.
the Xbox Dev Showcase.
I don't.
Yeah, so
The quickest from complete confidence to no confidence.
it's this month. Normally we'll look for like if there's ever like a Nintendo Direct, an Xbox Direct, or a PlayStation Direct, or some random Direct.
Yeah.
And Xbox threw theirs in this month. I feel like a bit on a whim. I don't know if it'd been planned out quite a bit in advance, but it just sort of snuck up on me that I didn't realise it was happening till it was halfway through the Direct.
I think you sent me a message and were like, did you watch the Xbox Direct? I went to respond, there was an Xbox Direct. It happened?
So it wasn't a big one. It was literally just a focus on their development studios that they've got there. And they were focusing originally on 4 is what was announced. So the first one they talked about was Obsidian are working on a new game called Avowed, which is like basically it's a deep dive into their new sort of upcoming action fantasy RPG where they're trying to do like moral grade choices.
You've
You've got a wand for spells and you've got swords and you can jump between things. It looked really good. It looked like because Obsidian made was it the Outer Worlds? But they also made Fallout New Vegas, which is where their big sort of thing into Bethesda was. And this feels very much like they've gone, hey, we can really do what Bethesda do with their stuff, but better. Come look at this.
Okay.
And it looks better. Come look at this. So I'm excited to see what happens with that because it's all first person, but like quick changes. Not many people were like, oh, let's get on it. It was just like, oh, this is happening. That's coming out in fall this year. So I think it's going to be day one on Xbox Game Pass, so I'll be checking that out. We also got some Ara History Untold, which is made from Oxide Games. These are the people who were...
It sounds familiar.
They were part of the team who made Civ 5, and then they made their own studio.
Yes.
So it's a real-world strategy game. But the idea is that all turns happen simultaneously. So there's no downtime whilst you're doing stuff.
Oh god, that I sound like I would hate that.
You like line up it's a bit like
Scythe.
board games where they go at the same time. So you all line up your moves.
That
and
just
it
sounds
launches.
incredibly stressful.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not for you, I don't think. I don't think so.
No,
But
no.
like, it's almost like a Civ, but you are playing online with other people. And they also have wild animals that can interact with you and like
Well, no, I
destroy
like
stuff.
that.
Yeah. Apparently when they were developing it, they had people come in and for a month, not for a month, for like a week, they just go, damn cougars, cougars were coming in and just killing people. So they've had to work on
All
the
those
AI for
slightly older
those.
women outside the office.
Yes, they're just like, they keep having sex and they're not paying attention. They're not building things. But it looks interesting.
Aren't we all?
It's
Yeah, well, I was going to say it's a relatable problem, really.
Yeah.
It's not for me, but again, this is coming out this year. I think it's summer this year. They haven't given a set time. Senua's Saga Hellblade 2, which looks incredible. Now, the first one was amazing. This one just feels like a step higher. Like the sound, everything they're doing just looks amazing. I didn't realize it was they're a British company, Ninja Theory. It's Ninja Theory, isn't it?
I think so.
It's Ninja something because they call it well, the development team. We were going, us and the other ninjas. They just call each other ninjas. And I'm like, come on, guys.
It probably is Ninja Theory because it wouldn't be Team Ninja because they're the other one.
No, that makes sense. I would say in that direct, they were doing all this thing. There's a guy who does the music for it. I don't know where he's from, but he might be the best sounding person I've ever heard in my life. And he was so passionate, and it was that sort of like broken English, but better than I'd ever speak any other language.
Yeah.
With passion about everything he was doing. I was like, this might be cheesy, but we are all Senwa, and I was like, we are all Senwa. We are. But it looks great. Again, that's coming out. It got an actual release date. It's March or May.
Oh, cool.
I know we've always said that I would be the one most susceptible to joining a cult, but I'm starting to think he would have a problem.
Only if we're all Senwa.
Oh, yeah.
Only for all and somewhere. Then they threw a random one in there that no one was expecting, which was the Mana series.
Nice.
Visions of Mana is now coming to Xbox. It's the first one to come to Xbox, but it's coming to all platforms summer this year. it's 3D. It feels and looks a bit more like Ni no Kuni-esque.
Oh,
So it looks really cool. And they were talking about how they develop the people, and it showed the person who originally made the Mana series, and how it's handed off to the new guy. And he's like, this guy has seen what the vision is and has made it for what it should be.
Yeah.
And then the last thing, the one that I do want to talk about in a bit more detail, is Indiana Jones game. Have you seen anything for this?
No.
So it's been made by Machine Games, which again is a Bethesda subsidiary. I can't
think why.
They were the Wolfenstein guys.
Right. Okay.
Yes.
They are making a first-person Indiana Jones game to try and distance it from it being an Uncharted game.
Yeah.
It looks cool. It looks like it's gonna be Uncharted style. They've worked out how to make the whip usable in like puzzles and stuff. But they're saying the idea of Indiana Jones has always been not fight my way through something, is think my way through something. So the idea is to try and solve it through combat, from talking, through puzzle solving, and going that way. The only thing I would say, and I don't think it's a bad thing, a lot of people go, oh, Nolan North is the voice of Indiana Jones, why have they not got Harrison Ford in? But you go, because Harrison Ford's 100 years old, and they're playing, and they're doing young Indy. I think it's between the second and the third Indiana Jones film. But he's done a pretty good impression. It feels like if you hadn't told me, I'd go, oh, that's a really good impression, or that's AI, or something along those lines. So it looks cool. A lot of people seem to be very excited. I think it's coming out later this year as well.
And to be fair, I have also heard that if you say who will voice him 3 times, Nolan North appears. Like Booth.
I was trying to think, who's the other guy? It's
Troy Baker.
Troy Baker. Nolan North, and it might be Troy Baker actually, not
They were
Nolan North.
both in Uncharted 4, and that was the joke. They're like, oh my god, they're together at last. They're both in Last of Us as well.
I'm going to have to find out who actually voices, because I think it might actually be Troy Baker, not Nolan North.
Nolan North was around for a while because he was Nathan Drake, and then Troy Baker appeared because he was Booker in Bioshock Infinite.
Yeah.
And I think that was his first big one, and then they both cropped up.
Troy Baker is actually the voice.
God.
I got it wrong.
He is in everything.
Yeah, it was going to be one of the two. Nolan North has now got a bit too old.
If you picture the arcs of their careers, Nolan North's was a bit further back. Troy Baker's is a flat line at the top.
Yeah, so it's Troy Baker.
That fucker's everywhere.
But Xbox Dev, it was actually really cool, because what I think has been quite fun this year, Xbox have been really sort of showing off that. I mean, a lot of the community have gone, PlayStation, where are your first-person games? Where are yours? And it does feel this year that Xbox have come in hard to go, look, we can now fight you.
I'll put my hands up and say I am one of the people I always say that Xbox's thing is more quantity over quality. Like, they just put all their games on Game Pass, they put everything out there, so you just play all of that. And from the sounds of it, I'm interested to see what these look like. It's nice to see them putting a bit more work in, because people complained because their big series came back with Forza, Halo, Gears of War, and they all seemed a bit watered down compared to what people wanted from them. And it's nice to see them, even if they did do it by buying everyone who made good games and getting to make games for them.
It's a way to do it.
It's nice to see them putting some big first-party titles out there.
There was some news as well about the amount that PlayStation players played first person. I can't remember. Do you remember what it was?
It was an article came out because, of course, every company, I don't know, PlayStation did a lot of the same. We're we're moving very heavily to games as a service, live service games. Everyone's going to be always online and always these everyday things. And then an article came out that said PS5 players last month played a lot more single player than they did multiplayer, which is both indicative of PlayStation and quite nice.
Yeah.
Because there was a strong wave of single player games, so I'm not completely shocked.
No.
And I also wouldn't be surprised if it bounced back the other way. But I think it does nicely, hopefully, speak to that PlayStation, just keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah, PlayStation's
please.
doing the right thing. Xbox, keep doing what you're doing. It's looking like it's very interesting how they're moving.
Yeah, everyone has their lane.
Yeah.
And I don't want everything to sort of homogenize into everyone makes the same kind of game. I want PlayStation to keep making big budget AAA single player. I want Xbox. Honestly, I'd like it if Xbox keep making this AA and a half.
Yeah.
And do a lot of breadth and a lot of different things. And Nintendo, just keep smoking what you're smoking, boys.
Well, should we have a little bitch about Nintendo?
Always.
Nintendo Switch 2. Rumours are coming out about how powerful it is. As powerful as a PS4.
Are we surprised?
Oh, okay.
Are we surprised?
you're like, well done.
Nice.
Boys and girls, who's surprised?
Only a generation behind, that's fine.
It's crazy, isn't it?
My favourite one is when they announced the Wii in the PS3 Xbox era, and it was basically just a GameCube but thinner.
Yeah, and it was
So funny.
They just do their own thing. They just don't care, do they?
Because nobody is playing a Nintendo console for
Graphics.
high-powered gaming and graphics. You're playing them because they're fucking mental, and they are exactly what you want them to be always.
The thing, I think, the only thing they have to be concerned about, and which is probably why it's PS4 quality, is that they need to get to a point where they can do whatever they want to, but people can play their Fortnite on there without it being a problem. Because that's you now are watching people play Fortnite on them.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
like that's where
That's the thing. On the one hand, you'd like them to stay a bit more up to speed, a bit more in line with the current graphical capacity. It's like I'd like to see what their kinds of games look like in this manner. On the other hand, if you have a console like the Switch that runs at PS4 quality, fucking sold.
Yep.
Yeah.
Give me one now.
I mean, we do have the Steam Deck.
Yeah, it's mostly streaming though, isn't it?
Yeah, that's the only
Like,
thing. I
Nintendo
want something
has-
to click in. Yeah,
Nintendo has all of that onboarded to play
Yeah.
their weird fucking games.
that's true. But that's the only bad thing I've got to say about Switch this month. Which is not a lot.
I like the Switch. I haven't played it, but I like it.
Other
like it
hardware
as a friend.
You like it as a friend. Other hardware stuff. PS5 controller. They've announced there's going to be it came out that there's going to be a DualSense 2, and the only difference I can see in it is they're talking about the battery life being about 12 hours.
Oh, sick.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if they've also fixed the issue that they are fully aware is that their controllers are garbage for life.
Triggers fall apart immediately.
I always have drift issues.
Do you?
Like, always get a drift issue.
I've somehow avoided. I think I've drifted on one of them. I've avoided it on most. My triggers go a lot.
So I got the PS5 the April after it first came
Yeah.
out, which I can't remember what year that would be. Maybe 2020.
2021.
Really?
Yeah.
Fuck me. So I've had it for 3 years.
Because
Oh,
I
wow,
bought mine before you.
Yeah.
And I bought it in the midst of lockdown.
Oh,
I bought
Jesus.
it just before Christmas.
Yeah. So 3 years I've had it. I have in the other room 6 controllers.
Yeah.
Only one of them doesn't have an issue.
I have also 6 controllers, and to be fair, I think 3 of them are currently surviving.
I've had my pink one for a long time now, and that one's
I
pretty good.
do think the amount we game is vastly
Yeah.
different, but I think it's good.
Do you see the way he puts me down?
No, that's not to put you down. It's just that for, I think...
They are wear and tear
Yeah.
controllers.
For the average gamer, which I
Yeah.
would say like the amount you play
Yeah.
is probably an average amount. People playing a little bit in an evening
Yeah.
when they get back from work, maybe a little bit on a weekend. Not me sitting down going, "Cool, I'm going to knock an 8-hour session into this 5 days a week."
Yeah. Yeah.
They start dying.
One of
That's-
mine has a dead button, and 2 have trigger issues.
all of my one has a trigger issue. The rest are all drift related. So I think maybe I push really hard on my controllers.
Maybe.
Who knows?
The trigger issue is the worst because they have the adaptive triggers.
Yeah.
And one of mine has it. So if you when you rest your fingers very lightly on the top of your triggers, that activates the trigger.
Right.
So I had
I
this
have
for a
had that.
while where we were playing Modern Warfare, and I just hold my controller and aim down sights. Breathe on L2. Like, fuck, stop it.
Breathe on L2.
Literally, you graze it. It's like, oh, you want to press the button?
Was that when you were playing with the sniper as well? So you're spending 2 hours getting in and out.
Load in, you're like, "Yeah, no.
But yeah, if you did want to get rid of them and buy a cheap one, you can't get it from Game anymore.
No,
Can't get it from Game anymore.
can't. It's weird.
So Game have made an announcement. So if you're in the UK, they've made an announcement they're not buying any more pre-owned games. I don't know about pre-owned other hardware, but they're definitely not doing games.
Anymore.
Yeah.
Is it a bad thing? Who's going to Game?
So I never went to Game for pre-owned. If I wanted pre-owned, I'd go to somewhere like CEX.
That's the thing that I think it's.
CX is winning in that market.
Yeah, Game used to be the big one, and they bought up Game Station,
Yeah.
who were bigger in the pre-owned market and built this pre-owned thing. But CEX have built a business off of just doing that.
Yeah.
And I think Game know they can't win that fight.
No, and I was saying to you beforehand, you've watched game stores slowly drop off the high street. They're now like in JD Sports. They're now in like these other
Yeah.
things. They are going to close their doors.
Yeah.
It's not that the company's going to go under. They're front facing.
They'll move online.
They're going to move online. They're going to be a game distribution.
Well,
They're going to be
if
like an Amazon
Does
essentially.
this not match up though with the fact that obviously game developers are now more and more coming out and saying that gamers have to be comfortable with not owning things.
what like
That's a good headline.
That's exactly a headline of Ubisoft's
Yes,
dev
yeah.
director.
Fucking Keras with the segue.
Right?
Who knew?
Right? No, but it's
Jim
true,
must be
isn't
so
it?
proud of
do
you.
They, well, it may be Jim that's taught me this.
my God.
It is that. I think that probably goes hand in hand, doesn't it? Because like people aren't going to go out and buy games anymore. And to be honest, I don't know many people who, like, for example, when I was living with my parents when I was a teenager, like me and my dad would specifically go to game to have a look at games. But you don't need to do that anymore because like, you've got an entire catalogue of games on PlayStation, on Steam, on this, on that.
Not even that.
You don't
You've
need
got
to leave.
CEX, as you said. You've got eBay, where everyone's doing it themselves. You can just find your pre-owned games on for cheaper than what game was selling them for anyway, because they weren't making money on it.
Game has to sell at like RRP to survive. Yeah. Like Game have some wild sales that crop up every now and then, and they're nice when you find them. But Game has no like market presence anymore.
I do think that the problem that Game has is that on that note, I think that shop is. CEX isn't obsolete. People will go there to find pre-owned things that they haven't played for a long time, or they'll want something that's cheaper, or and also but Game has become obsolete because it's also Game is heavily known amongst like me and my friendship group and stuff that do Game as being really fucking expensive. A game for cheaper, literally from my house without having to leave, rather than drive to Game and buy it for more expensive. Like, I'm not going to do that.
This is even their online stuff doesn't make sense at the moment because I can go to. There's a plethora of sites on there. You got Shop 2, you got Hit, you got the Game Collection, you got Amazon in there as well. Free delivery. And then Game go £5 delivery. Like, what the hell are you doing, Game?
It's just undercut by everywhere else. Yeah. And they can't afford to undercut themselves.
Because they have to pay for renting all these spaces. So if they close everything down, I reckon they go online, I reckon they start doing free delivery, and they'll still have their Game exclusives, like steelbooks and stuff. So people will still go to them, but it's just, we're seeing the death of that. And as you said, people are going to get comfortable not owning your games. Ubisoft, what are you fucking doing? They've just had potentially their most successful launch of a game with their Prince of Persia game. Everyone's raving about it. Everyone's loving it. And he goes, "Oh, you loving this game? Well, don't get used to it." You're like, what are you doing? What are you doing?
Never change Ubisoft. You glorious fucking morons.
Because they've now got Ubisoft Plus, which I think is the 16th iteration of their online streaming service. The cost of it is extortionate. It's more than Game Pass.
Is it really?
It's more than Game Pass. I know Game Pass aren't making money and they're reimagining it, but it's more than Game Pass.
I think the thing as well is Ubisoft are trying to sell this off the back of, we have this service and we will just dump the shit we release into it.
Yeah.
Not like Game Pass or PS Plus or the other ones, which have like a rotating cast of games. Ubisoft is similar to how fucking EA Play acts, where it's basically our games will drop here 3 months after they launch, and it will all just fucking be there.
This is so in his thing is people have got used to streaming games, people have got streaming movies, streaming music, and we think this is where this is going. The problem is, as a consumer, we don't have the trust in these people because look at Stadia, look at nothing's worked, and there's difference with I think owning a film and owning a game, and it's a completely different mindset that the consumer has in these two sort of
also from a practicality point of view. I mean, this is not going to be a problem for people who have like insane internet, right? But realistically, if you're living in the UK right now, you're in a cost of living crisis, you can't afford fucking massive bandwidth. There is a difference between streaming a film and streaming a game. Like, I'm not gonna
I also think though, like, it's a weird claim to make when you make a point about like not owning films and not owning music and that. When like I feel owning films and owning music, especially in like record form, is coming back around.
Yeah.
I've had a lot more people more recently than like the PS4 era talking about buying physical. Yeah. And it's just such a weird statement to make at this point, as that's coming back into fashion, to go,
it's
stop
crazy. Because I follow a lot, and there's a lot of people where physical media, like Blu-rays, everyone's buying Blu-rays again. Yeah. Records are being bought again. Yeah. But this is the difference. Like music, I like it on the go. You have it on your phone. That's fine. And you buy your records to relax in your house. It's a different experience. Games, I'm not going, well, I better stream that whilst I'm on the train. Like, you can't do it. It's not going to work.
This is what I meant by the whole bandwidth thing. It's like, I just don't understand, like, if it's meant to be a convenience thing, I can't see it being a convenience. I just see it being completely the opposite, because you're not going to have the bandwidth to do it on the go. You might not have the bandwidth to do it in your fucking house.
Yeah.
I mean, look at Australia. We think we're bad. Australia have nothing over
So
there.
it's like, I was like, what, am I going to be halfway through streaming a game and then all of a sudden it's like fucking lagging and it's like
But
it
it
just
is
doesn't
already.
seem like it doesn't seem like it's going to be an experience that's enjoyable.
I've tried to stream the PS Now. It's not PS Now anymore. It's the PS Plus Premium or whatever it is.
PS Now.
But you stream a game and you still have problems. And like, we don't have amazing bandwidth.
No, but it's not bad.
We're like 60 megabytes per second, which is fine. That's
Yeah.
good enough to do it. It's not like your 300 or whatever Darren has. But
I
like,
pay an absurd amount of money for good internet.
we don't have an option, and that's the problem. We don't have an option, and until it gets to a point where not only does this work, but the data networks work as well.
Yeah.
You've got your 4G and 5G
I mean,
and stuff.
when you look at when me and Josh originally were looking to move house, we found a house that we really liked, and we could not move there because what was the bandwidth? It was like crazy.
It was 1.3 megabytes per second.
Like, oh, we were
Nice.
shit. And that was in a place that's quite densely populated as well. So we were like, what the fuck? So, like, it's never going to work in a place like that.
No.
I think it's also people's opinions going to change on this soon. I think we're at a point where people are very excited about Game Pass and PS Plus and things like that because the games are there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're already seeing it with PS Plus where the games get removed.
And people go,
Batshit. So they're
Yeah.
like, I was playing that, I wanted to play that, why can I not play it anymore? It's like, because you don't own it.
But this is the thing. A film, you go, oh, a film's leaving in 2 weeks. Oh, good. That's an hour of my time.
Yeah.
And then back on. A game, you go, oh, I need to invest 60 hours in the next month. You know, like, I don't have
The big
that.
one recently was PS Plus was like, next month all the Yakuza games are going. People are like, are you fucking joking?
Yeah.
I cannot play
Well, look,
those.
Resi 7 is going off of Game Pass.
Yeah.
Not Game
Yeah.
Pass, off of PlayStation this month. And people are like, what? I haven't had a chance to play. And you're like, it's a shorter game, but like, it's stuff.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, I've got that in mind to play. And you're like, no, we're taking our hands off that now.
Yeah.
Finished playing My Time at Porsche an hour before it left PS Plus.
Yeah.
I had to play that game flat out in a week.
Yeah.
It's just bad. And the thing with the Ubisoft thing is they've got a tiered subscription thing to get better stuff with it, which sort of leads me into what Sega are doing.
Haha. Yeah. This is a thing with Yakuza Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth coming out at the end of this month. New Game Plus is locked behind a digital deluxe version.
You have
What?
they've got a paywall on New Game Plus.
Yeah.
No. Oh, I hate that.
This is a big thing. I'm in two minds about it. One, that's fucking stupid. Two, I don't think I have ever played or remember there being a Yakuza New Game Plus.
There definitely
Either
is
I'm
one.
forgetting it exists. It might only be in 7.
I think there's one on 0. There's one on
not
0,
on
I think. I'm
0.
pretty sure there is.
I think there's just New Game.
Is it New Game, but they've unlocked a new difficulty,
Possibly,
isn't it? That's what
yeah.
it is, yeah.
There might be a New Game Plus. I'm just blanking on it. Regardless, putting it behind New Game Plus or putting it behind Digital Deluxe is such a weird decision.
It's so
Yeah, that's very strange.
The weird part about it, though, they've said nothing about it.
Yeah.
They just released like the image saying this is what's in the different versions, and the Digital Deluxe says enjoy New Game Plus on da da da, and nothing's been said.
I have only ever played New Game Plus type, New Game Plus things on things like Resident Evil, and I cannot tell you how fucking annoyed I would be if I had gone all the way through that and then been like, I have to pay now.
I mean, to be fair, a Yakuza game, some people made a lot of good comments about it. He goes, if I've invested 100 hours into Yakuza, I don't really want to play the New Game Plus.
Yeah.
But by the same token, it shouldn't become a norm. That's
No.
Like I like it for games like a Dark Souls.
Yeah.
Or a Souls-like game, where often you unlock new things on each loop.
Yeah.
But it is the case of, in a Yakuza game also, this is why I felt weird about it, there's often trophies or achievements for beat the game on the highest difficulty you unlock after beating it.
Yeah.
Imagine if that's easier because you have access to New Game Plus.
Yeah. Yeah.
What happens then?
It's stupid. It's stupid.
I will say, I personally, I get what you mean, because like in Resident Evil, when I've done New Game Plus, like you don't need the New Game Plus. They already give you everything you need to finish the game. It is literally just there because it is really fun to go through the whole thing, like with the circular saw and chop things to pieces. Like, do you know
Get
what
the
I mean?
skeleton key and just go
Yeah,
backwards.
and just go and do whatever
great.
the fuck you want. Like, yeah.
Yeah. But it's crazy. Sega being weird. I mean, this is the second game from them in about 4 months. This one's got a physical copy, but the other one only has a digital copy.
Yeah.
Who knows what they're fucking
Shit's
doing?
Yeah.
But outside of the world of gaming, specifically, we're looking into gaming with other media. There's been some other conversations about films and stuff, hasn't there?
Yeah. Which one do you want to talk about?
What do you mean, which one do you want to talk about?
Well, we briefly talked earlier on about Suicide Squad. And
I forgot about Suicide.
Yeah.
Oh, just to say Suicide Squad. This is not different media, but Suicide Squad. Everyone's saying it's gonna be shit. We all think it's gonna be shit.
I saw the trailer for this in like a really weird place, right? So I went to see Bring Me the Horizon in Cardiff about a week and a half ago. And obviously, if you've been to a Bring Me the Horizon gig, they've got like these big screens that they do all their like crowd interaction and stuff through, and graphics and all that shit. And before they did like a little safety announcement about people, you know, like they did a really fun like 80s, like let's do a warm up and not beat the shit out of each other kind of video. It was great. And then straight after, and they played this advert 3 times.
Nice.
They didn't advertise anything else, but they did advertise the Suicide Squad game.
And it looks rubbish, and then all the reviews are coming in and saying it's bad as well. I've never seen anyone
It does look
review.
shit.
Funniest fucking thing I've ever seen when all of the previews came up and it was like IGN.com Suicide Squad preview. It's not fun. Like
That was
Yeah.
literally
What?
that was their literal.
What? It's not fun.
It's not fun.
Oh my god, it did look
I've
terrible.
seen a lot where they're like, yeah, it's got it could
Yeah.
be good, but I'm not
There was
feeling it right
nothing-
now.
I
It's
knew
just bad.
It was going to be bad because there was a guy stood behind me in Bring Me the Horizon, and like literally when it came on, like everybody turned to look at it, and then everybody immediately kind of like looked around at each other, and the guy behind me went, "Oh Jesus, that looks so fucking cheesy." And I was like, "Oh my
I feel bad for Rocksteady. I'm sure they would have made a better game were they not screwed by everything.
Yeah, they've had a bad set of luck because they are a good developer. Well,
Yeah.
they've had some good games in the past.
They have. And
This-
they were making a better one. This is like a known thing. That
Yeah.
the shareholders came in and said, make it a games as a service game.
Yeah.
Make it
Yeah.
a multiplayer focused games as a service game. And they had to restart, basically.
Do you think the Suicide Squad also, like, because of all this and everything that's come out, though, like, suffers from that kind of, like, this is cringy label before anything even comes out?
Oh, because of Jared Leto and stuff like
Yeah.
that.
I also think it suffers from... I always had this argument about Forspoken back in the day. It suffers from people deciding it's going to be bad.
Yeah.
So, like, this one is
Yeah.
different in that I think this one
Is bad.
does look bad, where Forspoken's just fine.
Yeah.
But people decide it's going to be shit.
Yeah.
And then it just gets shit.
Yeah. Let's talk about something that hopefully won't be as shit then,
Yeah.
and will just be a bit spooky.
I'm in mixed.
Yeah, I say hopefully it won't be as shit, but we've got some news about that as well.
Yeah. It's Until Dawn is getting a film coming
Yeah.
out. That's being directed by David Sandberg, who did Shazam, but also did originally horror films pretty
Yeah, yeah.
exclusively. Like he did Annabelle Creation, he did The Nun. So that could be very good. The only thing that gets me really kind of thing is the writer of it, who did this god awful vampire film called The Invitation.
Yeah, that
which
was
I hated.
rubbish. It was absolutely awful.
But it's
I think I gave it 1.5
being
stars.
made by
and I was being
Screen
kind.
Gems, and Screen Gems is pretty good as a production company and PlayStation Productions. And yeah,
I was going to say, although it's been written by that guy, they've obviously taken the original script as well, then this guy's formatted the script, and then there's another guy who helped write It, The Nun, and something else. Like he's who's doing a second pass on it. So
Yeah.
there will be changes to it. The only thing that's going to be interesting is how they do the casting,
yes,
and also what path they choose.
Yeah, it's an odd choice, I think, to make basically a choose your own adventure game into a film.
Yeah.
It could be interesting as well because like we were talking about this the other day, and obviously in the game anybody can die. So like, who do they choose to die? Does anybody die? You know, there's a few different avenues they could take on
I
it.
think it's going to be everyone.
The
bar-
survival route.
Everyone dies bar one. Because he's going to go back to his horror roots.
And
There's going to be a final girl. There's going to
It's
be
the most exciting route, I suppose.
and that's probably where they die in that journey. I don't know, but
Yeah.
you know,
The only part of it I would be interested to see is that ending.
Yeah.
Because it works so well in the game because of like the mechanic of having to hold the controller still while everything's going to shit.
yeah, because you are panicking and there is fucking everything. And then also, so do you want to make this decision now? You're like, no, I need to hold on.
Yeah.
Do I hold on? Do I move now? I'm not
Light
too
switch,
sure.
light switch,
Yeah,
light
yeah,
switch.
yeah. So
But I don't know. It feel like if you movie adapted a David Cage game, like Heavy Rain,
Yeah, yeah.
Souls, like it's already basically a film.
That's it.
Like, what are you gaining from this medium?
I don't understand what they're doing with Supermassive. I mean, maybe, like, can you imagine if they did it as a TV series? Like, they're an hour long with different endings. Like, they do the same thing, but it's like different outcomes. That I could see them doing.
Yeah. What was like the Netflix Choose Your Adventure thing?
Oh, not the Bandersnatch?
Yeah, they do that until dawn.
Yeah, that would make me
class.
Yeah.
I'd kill them all.
Other bit of news as well, film TV wise, is that they've cast Abby in The Last of Us season 2. They cast Caitlin Dever, who
I'm sure I've seen her in things.
people thought she was going to be Ellie originally, and I cast her. The only thing about her is she's quite, should we say, scrawny? Like Abby needs to bulk up.
Hook her up with Jim.
So yeah,
Hook her up with Jim.
he's a good man.
He's a very good man.
But outside of news, we've also been playing games as well. So what have we been playing? Anyone want to jump in first with what they've been just sort of enjoying their time with?
I'll go. I got a couple of things I finished, and then one I enjoyed playing a bit more of.
Cool.
I finished up Lego 2K Drive.
Nice.
That game's a lot of fun.
Did you get the platinum on it?
I did get the platinum.
Oh,
Fuck
cool.
the platinum grind on that game.
Oh, really?
The last 2 trophies are drive 3,000 miles and drive 6,000 miles. I did everything else in that game, and I'd driven not even 1,000.
Oh, God.
I had to rubber band it overnight for 3 nights to reach that number. It's fucking stupid.
I saw other people with pictures doing it as well.
I platinumed Lies of P as well. That
Good.
game's fun. The records are terrible. The dog man can go fuck himself. There's a decision you have to make. You have to make every decision correct up to that point. You have to do it twice, and it's 90% of the way through the game. So if you fuck it up somewhere, like I sent him to a different location and forgot to go talk to him,
Right.
and then I got to the end of the game and went, I want to make this decision. The game went, no.
Oh, my God. Okay.
So I have to beat the game and get back up to this point to make this decision again. So it took 4 runs. Fuck that.
It took me 2 runs with
Yeah,
the same
because
scam.
I imagine, did you like...
I just did it right.
Oh, yeah.
What I mean is, did you like know that was a decision that
I
got
knew
wrecked?
that was a
He's
decision.
going through a phase at the moment, Darren, ignore him, right? If you've been to Tenerife, he's been 11 a reef, right? He's all the time, man.
I don't know, that's great.
But
no,
yeah,
like,
I knew it was a
I
decision.
blind ran it, made the wrong decision because I thought it was the right decision.
Yeah, that makes
then
sense.
Made the right decision, then fucked up the route to it, then made the right decision.
That's cool.
Well, I enjoyed it because by New Game Plus 4, you beat bosses on the first attempt, and you
Beautiful.
get to feel like a god. The other one I played a lot of was a PS Plus game from a couple months ago called, I think, Ayuden Chronicle Rising.
How do you spell it?
Eiuden.
That might be right there.
Okay.
Yeah. This is a...
Well, you say it like you're, your street. Oh, you didn't.
Ayuden! This is a side-scrolling RPG
God.
by the guy who made the Suikoden games, like PS1 era JRPGs.
Yeah.
And this is a similar sort of fashion to...
We have to go, Suikoden!
I was just thinking, I went on a random thing that it just sounds like a roadman asking you, like, if you're going somewhere, like, are you dead?
I think it's a similar sort of fashion to the guy who made Castlevania coming back to make
Right,
States.
okay.
Like, he just came back around. He's like, this is the spiritual successor to these games. It's a 2D RPG. You play as a treasure hunter called CJ who comes to this town because they have this big sprawling mine under it.
Right.
And treasure hunters from all over come to this town, and she's come here to find her treasure, which is like a ritual from her clan. And basically, the way the town works is treasure hunters come in, and you either have to pay this massive fee, or you essentially have good deed cards.
Oh.
Where you go around, you help people,
get out
they
of jail.
stamp the card.
Oh no, it's a redemption card. Like you're going to feel like your loyalty card, getting you a free sub.
Exactly. And you go after you've got enough stamps, and they let you into the mines.
Nice.
And it starts off as this, and you sort of build this party of 3 people in the end, and it turns into trying to work out what's going on in the mines and what happened to the old mayor, and everyone coming around to the idea of these treasure hunters being there. It's part RPG, part town builder.
Oh, your
I
jam
loved
entirely.
it. Yeah. You recruit people into the town.
It's like Ni no Kuni 2.
Sort of. You recruit people in to start these businesses, and then side quests unlock further steps in it.
Right.
And like each enemy you go out and fight has different materials, so you upgrade all your
That's
weapons
fun.
and your armor and everything. The one thing I did want to talk about is the combat of this game, which I think is really unique. You have 3 party members. You play as one at any given time.
Yeah.
Each person has a special ability with R2, and they have one attack, which is mapped to a different button.
Okay.
So your first party members is mapped to square, your second is mapped to triangle, your third is mapped to circle.
Okay.
And combat is basically just you can press those one after another and they'll come out and do their particular attack and you can link them together.
Right, okay.
And each one has like a different special ability. So the triangle one is a strongman who has a block ability. The circle one is a mage who fires like ranged weapons. So what you'll have is like combat, you press square to do your one attack, you triangle, link attack into the heavy, you then block an attack, you can link into the circle.
Nice,
to knock the shield out. And it just...
almost becomes a rhythm.
Yeah, it's so fluid in how it works that you see a shield coming in, you're like, right, tap circle to hit the shield, and then I'll jump up and hit square because they have a quicker attack.
Yeah.
And then my triangle can block the incoming projectile.
That's fun.
It's just, it got, I think, a bit talked over in our Freebies episode of that month because it comes across as a bit C-tier RPG.
Right,
that just gets like dumped and it means nothing. When you look into the background of it and you play a bit of it, it's really good fun.
I think it might have also been the month after massive RPG dump, and we were like, yeah, we're done with JRPGs, we're looking at other stuff.
But I jumped into it, I think, for a little bit, just to give it a go for our lists.
Yeah.
And I went back to it, I'm like, this is great.
Right,
it's
fair
this
enough.
real cozy, easy, like 12, 15 hour.
I was going to say, I might give it a go, but I've got so many games that I need to give a go.
It's a real short one. It's nice.
Gareth, have you been playing anything that's quite short, but maybe you've had to play it a million times to make
Yes,
it...
I finally
Don't talk about yourself,
finally.
Jim's a tall man.
6'3", yeah.
Oh my god. Oh, sorry.
What have you finally done?
Well, if you didn't
Jim.
keep talking over me, then I would I'd be able to do it.
What have you done, Gareth?
What?
What have you done?
Speed! What is going on here?
What have you played?
What have you played? Darren wants to know.
I'll tell you, I just said, if you didn't fucking interrupt me every 2 minutes, I'd be able to say.
And then you sat there silently looking at your watch.
Because I was waiting for you to stop fucking talking.
Moment of silence.
I've played The Quarry, I platinumed it, I played Last of Us Part 1.
Nice.
No,
it
you
was-
talk about more than that. Don't act like you can't.
Well, you might have more things to say.
I do, but not about you, so it's alright.
Right, okay then.
How's The Last of Us?
Actually really good.
Yeah.
I'm really enjoying it. Yeah. It's one of those games I knew I would enjoy, and I just never put any time into it. I never played it. And the story is really good. I really like the world that it's in. Like, it's post-apocalyptic in a really, really interesting way, rather than it just being like, oh, it's the end of the world, this is a bit boring. Because I do wonder, because of things like The Walking Dead and stuff, is that concept maybe a little bit overplayed, but I really like it. I really like it.
It's measured enough that you believe, because like civilization hasn't completely collapsed. In fact, civilization is more structured than it's ever been before.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but like it's almost this what's the word I'm looking for? Not utilitarian, but like it's like a governing body that's stopping people. It's like, is it martial law essentially being enacted? I suppose.
Yeah.
But yeah,
and I like all the stuff with the fireflies and like the fact that you don't really know who's good, who's bad. Like, who am I working with?
it's a morally grey game, isn't it?
Yes, yeah. I like the fact that there's no real concept of who is good and who is not, and I like that. I think it keeps you on your toes.
What's fun is obviously for you. I'm jealous of you because you get to play this game for the first time, and you've gone into this without really knowing anything about it because you haven't watched the TV series
No,
either.
I purposefully haven't watched the TV
So
series.
you got to play that opening scene without
my God, now-
Brutal.
Listen, on that note, I will say I purposefully have not watched the TV series because I have always said to myself, I want to play the game before I watch the TV series. Because way too often I've jumped into a TV series and then never ever like played the thing or watched the movie or read the book that has come with it. So I was like, I'm not going to do that with this. I'm going to play the game. That opening scene with his daughter fucking crushed me.
Yeah.
That was it was the same feeling I got when I watched The fucking Mist, and it was the ending of The fucking Mist, and you just think like, fuck, like that is the most sad, depressing, unhappy thing that could possibly fucking happen.
Also, great Troy Baker performance. He's back.
Brilliant.
But it is such a great character forming moment, and you're like,
yeah.
I know where I am with this fucking
Yeah.
game, and they go, here you go, we're gonna give you, and you feel like Joe. Yeah, Joel.
I'll straight up say I've never ever had a game make me cry before, and I did well up.
Someone
Fully.
hasn't played To the Moon.
Someone hasn't
That game's
played.
fucking sad.
Someone isn't me who
Endly.
cries at everything.
Oh, Josh,
Sad Fox game.
Josh, fucking, he's a weeper. He's a
Every film,
weeper.
every game, real life less so. Don't really care about real people.
Yeah, but I loved it, and yeah, as I said before, I glossed over it because Josh was being rude. I platinumed the Quarry finally. I left it back in August because
That's a good
I
milestone,
had
the
to
Quarry.
do so many fucking playthroughs that I just got sick to the back teeth of the fucking game.
Yeah.
And thankfully, I managed to get the trophies that I needed to in one playthrough this time. I managed to get it, and I got my first platinum of 2024 in the first 3 days of
Yep.
January, which is
Beat
lovely.
me and
Yeah,
Darren.
close to it.
Yeah.
Which is, I
think I'm up to 3 now.
I'm gonna do it. Oh my fucking. Do you see what I mean about this? Like, if I'm aching, he's fucking aching more. If I haven't slept, he slept less. I've got 1 platinum, he's got fucking 3.
Karis, just be better.
Oh, Darren, I'm not.
Get
happy
good.
right now. I just get the point at the front, at the start of this, where I said I am a fucking weapon. I got bigger lance than this fucker right here, and I will knock you both out.
So I've been playing a
do you
few
see it?
games.
You are so,
I'm just trying-
you're so fucking rude, like.
I'm just trying to move
All the trophies.
So I've been playing a few
try
things. Very briefly, got my platinum in Dark Souls. Feel great about getting that fucking off that monkey
Very
off
nice.
my back. It was rough.
That's a dog.
But talking about Dark Souls, I've started playing Lords of the Fallen, which
Yeah.
is a Souls-like game that sort of got slept on a little bit. I remember it being announced and fully figured that announcement
Yeah.
trailer was fucking awesome. And the game starts with the announcement trailer. I'm like, this is really fucking cool. But it's Souls-like. It's the way I look at it, it's essentially Dark Souls in the way that Liza P is Bloodborne, is the way I'd
cool.
look at it. So
Yeah.
they've done a really good job of being sort of honest to how it works. The only difference is you've got this thing where you switch between planes using your lamp, which turns you into a different world, which is the Umber, where lots of creatures attack you, but you can earn more stuff whilst doing it. So there's a benefit to it. But if you stay in there too long, a creature will come and beat the living fuck out of you. And there's like a little eye that fills up, and you're like, oh no, he's going to get me. And he's arrived once, and he beat the living hell out of me because I lost track of time. But it also creates new pathways for you in this thing. So it's really fun. And also what's good about it is you can also play online with other people really easily. Literally, if someone else has the game, you both go in, you can summon a friend, and your friend comes in, or you go across, and you can just match. You can also put matchmake on for anyone to come and help you. And if it clicks, someone just jumps into your game, and it's so much easier. And you could actually, if your friend dies in the game, because they've got the same healing thing, you can expend one of your heals to bring them back, which is nice. So there's little bits in there. It's basically imagine Dark Souls, but you can actually play with your friends. You're like, oh, all right then, I'll play it. So Lords of the Fallen, really good. I've also been playing a lot of Prince of Persia.
Nice.
Oh, Ubisoft have done well. It's very much Metroidvania. It feels like it's got enough of the Sands of Time in there, enough of the other bits in there. When it's real simple throwback. But you remember the poles that you spin around to jump from poles, and when you turn around, you do that little jump on the top with you doing a handstand. They've done that in this. It's little moments like that. You go, oh,
They call the essence.
They got the essence of it. There's timey-wimey bits, and you can sort of put yourself in different locations. But people going, oh, it's sort of like a Metroidvania. It's a Metroidvania, guys. I've got new skills. I can get into new locations I couldn't get into before. It's a Metroidvania. I'm about a third of the way through the game. I'm probably about 6 hours of just sort of going through, and I reckon I'll get it all completed. It's well worth the time. I think a lot of people have sort of missed it, but probably should give it a go.
Yeah, it's probably because the sentence
Actually, not missed it.
done well on this time didn't feel right.
I've seen quite a lot of people get it, but it's also come out the day before The Last of Us 2 remaster came out, and a lot of people have been buying that instead, I think.
It is a very January release,
It
where a
is.
few people pick it up, but you're still reeling from Christmas games.
It's going to be one of those games that people will pick up in the sales in the summer and go, oh, this was brilliant. And I just hope that Ubisoft don't go, well, it didn't do as well as we hoped it would do, so we're just going to do our quality, our games to service system. So if you've got the money and I like a good Metroidvania, do this. I would quite like a few of my other games be made into Metroidvanias, but that might just be me. I think it'd be a quite cool system. They go, Last of Us, here goes a Metroidvania version of this where you're like slowly uncovering building items to be able to get into new places, etc.
Persona has made every other type of game. Why not a Metroidvania?
Why not a Metroidvania?
Get new personas to unlock new areas. It'd be fucking sick.
Briefly, the finals. How great was that?
Great.
Surprisingly good game. I don't think we've mentioned that before, but yeah, online 3v3v3 game where all the places are destructible. I think I might have mentioned in a previous one, so I'm not going to talk about it a lot. But yeah, really good. Check it out. And the last thing, I've played about 20 minutes of this game, and I can't wait to play more.
Yeah.
Pal World.
Okay, I know. I've heard about this. Is it good?
Pokemon with guns.
Yep.
Like,
I have heard Pokemon fans literally fucking hate this game.
I've heard real mixed bag.
I'm at the very
People
beginning.
love it. People hate it.
It's still like it's almost like early access at the moment. And they've definitely got, push this button to do this. And it's very much feels like they've made the buttons for keyboard, but the controller ones they haven't really programmed in there properly. Because it's like, push full stop to open building menu. I'm like, I don't have this. I've got a controller in my hands. Then I move to the keyboard, and he goes, push B. I'm like, well, that's not the same button at all. What are you doing? So I've now worked out where it is. But literally, you're plonked in this world, just some pants on, and you run out, and there's a person with a gun going, well, you probably should get some stuff. So you build some wood to make a workbench so you can build more things. And at the moment, I've got no weapons, but I can punch the living fuck out of some things that look like Clefairy sheep.
Yeah.
And I've got some meat out of it. So who knows? It's interesting.
I'd heard of it bringing the vibe of like a Rust or an Ark Survival, but with that Pokemon air on top, which, to be fair, sounds like my jam.
It is. It's third person, build your own survival, try and live. You can make it in worlds where you can have other people come in with you, and you can just try and survive with a bunch of friends. And it seems like it'd be pretty fun.
I think we should play this.
Yeah, we can play on Game Pass and have a little bit of a time on that. But yeah, I will fill us in with more information about that next time.
Yeah.
Should we move on to PS Plus?
Do it.
Sure.
PS Plus, good or bad this month?
Good.
I thought it was really good, actually.
Nice month.
I think it's a really good month. They got some really good headline games. They got a nice variety of games. And they've got some classics thrown in there that people actually want to play.
Yeah.
This is a real month where I looked at it and I went, this would be a fucking great month if I hadn't played everything.
Oh, is it?
All like the top end of it is shit I own. And I'm like, good for you guys getting to play this.
No, I thought,
Shame.
I thought it was a really good mix of like bigger, newer things and nostalgic things. I thought it was cool.
Yeah.
I actually agree with now you've said that. I'm like, the PS Essential, I think I owned all 3 games.
Yeah.
The big ones from the premium, not premium, the extra, I had the big ones from there. I didn't have anything on the premium, but I'm like, oh yeah, I do own. I did feel that, but I went, oh, at least other people get to experience it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, like I liked the Essential because I didn't own any of them and they're all stuff I looked at passively.
Right.
And Extra was very much, oh, look at all the pictures on our headline page. And I'm like, I've played all of them. They're great games, but fuck it up.
But it was a great month. I'm glad that we all think it's a good month this month. And it is the variety enough.
Glad you've joined me.
Oh, no, this is...
I think everyone's a great month.
Listen, I thought it was a good month, and there was one game that really solidified it.
What are you championing?
yeah.
What are you
I'm not
championing?
talking about the game I'm championing right now.
Oh, right. What's the other
I'm
game?
talking about the inclusion of the iconic Star Wars Episode 1 Phantom Menace game. That
Never played it.
honestly spent so
Second
much
worst Star Wars
fucking
film.
time on when I was a child, and when I saw that motherfucker in there, I was like, this is not a good month, this is a fucking great month.
I like that.
I loved it.
But what are you championing then if it's not that?
Oh, not to be the most predictable person on the planet, but I'm gonna champion Resident Evil 2 because it's what I'm streaming at the moment.
Nice.
And I fucking love it.
I like the self-promotion.
Yeah, I'm streaming it right now, guys.
Come watch me play it.
God. Come get ready with me for another stream.
But
no,
why
it's
is it so
really
good?
It is genuinely fucking shit scary. That's why.
Nice.
It is probably my second favorite Resident Evil game. And I literally have been so blown away by it on the stream, because for those of you who've maybe not watched my streams this far back, or don't watch my streams at all, in which case, fuck you. Come and join me. I did Resident Evil 1, first of all, the remake of that, and I gotta be honest, I found it really difficult. It's not that I didn't enjoy it, I just found it too hard, and I'll be honest with that. I thought the perception, you know, because it's third person, but it's a fixed camera, and that really fucked with me. It's not it's not an easy game at all. It's and it's not about combat and stuff. There's lots of things about it that are complicated. But Resident Evil 2, I think, is actually where Resident Evil as it is now starts properly. And the story is great, the characters are great, but like it genuinely is a very creepy, scary game. There's a level of threat there that doesn't go away. The world that is built around one place,
it feels very survival horror as well.
Yeah,
your scarcity.
It's so good. Like the whole of my stream yesterday was literally, I just need to explore this place for health because I am fucking dying. And I discovered lots of new things on the way. I discovered where I'm going to go next. But I literally spent 3 hours just being like, if I don't find health now, I'm going to fucking die. Yeah. And in a weird way, I loved it because I was like, this is such, at the crux, what a horror game should be. That kind of feeling of like, fucking hell. Like, I'm only playing on normal. I'm not playing on hard. I have to search for these things and I have to be aware of my surroundings at all time, and at any moment I could die, and I died a lot last night. But it was really good fun. It was fun without being super frustrating.
Because you can see where you're meant to go, oh, I died here, but I know if I did this different, I used this gun to deal with this before, and I have the ability to
and
sort of...
things like, saving in different... like save things, because then you can go like, right, okay, if I load this save, I know I'm in the right place to actually go and do these things. And then I like there's a lot of that's gone into that game as well that is like really surprising. It throws a lot of things at you that you don't expect in terms of setting, in terms of enemies, in terms of just... It just really is a fucking great
Resident
game.
Evil 2, I've always said, is my favourite one because I think it is, as you said, the most quintessential Resident Evil without leaning too hard into certain things. Like you start going too gun heavy in 4. You start going almost too far like puzzly in 7. Almost in my mind. Not that I think it's a bad thing, but I think 2 hits this sweet spot that goes, here you go, this is Resi 1, but it's accessible. Yeah. And you're like, that's where we're going.
You got a scale that's like 1 and 4 on the ends. Yeah. 2 is right in that.
Mind you, I would say 4 leans a lot more heavily into action, but I don't think it would ever be as too far lent into the craziest 6.
No, I agree. 5 and 6, it goes far with them, but that 4 is the heralding of it. But 4 is that sort of thing where a lot of people go, it's my favourite Resi game, but I go, oh no, it's lent a little too far on the scale this way. Like, as you said, 1 and you put 1 on one side and you put 4 on the other, you've got 2 dead centre, like this is where it is. 7's a little towards 1. And then, you go, oh, this is, and then maybe 8 is a little towards 4, and then the others are crazy off to the side, apart from 3, which is a little towards 4 as well.
Yeah.
I think 4 is like the non-Resi fans' favourite Resi game. Yeah. And 2 is probably the Resi fans' favourite Resi game.
I am a huge fan of this, and I think if you have... I've always said that if you're a person who's never played Resi before, I've always recommended 7 because it's fucking scary, and it's you can't really play 8 without playing 7, in my opinion. But I think now I would be like, play 2 and then play 7.
Brilliant. That's what I want to hear.
Yeah.
What am I championing this month? I'm championing a sequel game, which is always difficult because it's a Plague Tale Requiem. The first one, Plague Tale Innocence, also came out on PS Plus a little while ago, but again, if you've added it to your library, you've still got it there. I've played through Innocence. I really enjoyed Innocence. It's Hugo and Amicia trying to reunite with their mother after they get separated. They're set in France in, I think, the 13 or 1400s. It's hard to... Plague times.
And it's a plague tale, funnily enough.
Essentially, they are from a wealthy family. They get sacked and they get separated, and it's them trying to make their way through. And it's really good. Really well voice acted. It feels honest. And what was good about it was you felt like you didn't have much in the way to actually combat people until later in the game, where you suddenly find out Hugo has rat powers. He can control rats. And that's why there's a good thing called the Order. They're interested in him. Basically, work through, you beat the Order at that point, and now we're in the second one, which takes place 6 months after you've rescued your mother. You're with her and an apprentice who you found along the way as well. And oh no, shit goes wrong. His powers have gone dormant, but now they've been awoken again, and the Order are back after him, sort of thing. So it's sort of continuing on. is really good. Is if you want to play a game and you just want to play a game for story, this has potentially some of the best accessibility options possible. They make it so it's you can make it so it's really easy to not be detected. You can make it so that it automatically locks onto what you need to hit, so that anyone could play this and have a good time. And if you want to be really hard, you can make it really hard for yourself. I would say this is not as good as the first one in my mind. It graphically looks nicer, but for some reason, and I cannot work out why, they've dropped the French lilt to their voice acting. So in the first one, they got, "Oh, Hugo, no, did it?" And then this was like, "Hugo, no." And it's like, you're taking me out of this now. But I don't know if it's because I've played the first one and it's taken me out. You might be able to just play this one and go, "Oh, cool, I'm in on it." But I don't like Hugo, and he was part of the reason I didn't like the beginning of Final Fantasy 16 because it's the same voice actor.
Yeah.
But it is a really good game, and it really, you do feel that sort of dread, and it is puzzly in its way, and it's simple like solutions. You don't have like a sword, you have like a slingshot which you can throw at people. So really good, really recommend it. Maybe play the first one if you have it though beforehand. It would be the only thing I say. Darren, which one are you championing? Because I know you're between two at the moment. So have you made a decision?
I'm championing a weird game. I'm championing Hard Space Shipbreaker. I've recently got very into Power Wash Simulator.
Oh yeah.
The only problem I have with Power Wash Simulator is it can get a bit monotonous.
No, you don't say.
And I know that's sort of like part and parcel, but there will be a point where I'm cleaning a playground and I get 60% of the way through and I'm like, kind of fucking done with this.
Yeah, I did.
Just
Yeah.
Sort of,
Yeah.
I think this, even if it has the potential down the line to get a bit samey, fixes that by essentially being power washed with threat.
Yeah, okay.
So you basically work for a space salvaging company. So they'll bring you a ship and you have to salvage it. So you go in with your little laser cutter and your grapple and you basically cut it apart and put the pieces into either... You've got scrap metal in a furnace, big panels in a processor, and then valuables in a barge down below.
Yeah.
And you go in, you have to manage like your oxygen levels, your thrusters have a fuel level, you have health. Mm-hmm. So if you, as I've done so many times, grapple yourselves towards the ship, forget to brake and smash your face into the ship, your helmet breaks and you have to go back and fix your suit to come back.
And you said this is multiplayer as well?
Yeah, so you can have 3 to 4 people floating around the ship, like cutting different bits of it off.
Like Josh's face right now, his eyes have like lit up.
But you can see areas you're meant to cut. You have to like certain panels you have to cut in half to pull bits of it off. You have to carefully maneuver explosive tanks out from inside the ship because if they explode, your maximum level goes down.
Right.
The amount of experience you can get is based on the percentage you can salvage. Right. So if you put things in the wrong container or you accidentally blow stuff up, that then goes down, which affects the maximum amount you can get out of it. Right. It's about being careful, pulling out your valuables, putting them, breaking it apart piece by piece. But there's something really satisfying to after you've broken every panel off and taken every valuable out, and all you're left with is this just frame, and you just tether it into the furnace. And they're like, goodbye.
Goodbye forever.
Last of my value. And it's just great, breaking it off piece by piece. Like, Power Wash has a problem where it doesn't feel complete until you get to the end. I don't know if you play it like I do, where you do
a section
and then this thing.
Yep.
This is like that to the max, where you'll cut off a panel and fire it off, and then the next panel fire it off.
I share stuff to my Instagram story all the time. But you watch it, it's like he's clearing the floor, and you literally watch me working grids down, because that's just how it works. That sounds cool. I can't wait to give that a go.
It's good fun.
So we have a little look at our top 5 games.
Yeah.
We did have like a joint one, so I'll do an honourable mention of Tiny Tina Wonderland.
It's fun.
Borderlands, but set in a D&D world. That's all it needs to be said, really.
Yes, it's really good fun.
So in 5th place, we have Hard Space Shipbreaker.
It's good fun. I like it a lot.
Which Darren's already said. In 4th, we have Evil West.
Yep.
So if you haven't heard of Evil West, it's basically you are part of an organisation where you are a vampire hunter. All right, that's cool. But you're a cowboy in the plains of the West. So it's a third-person shooter where you also have a gauntlet, which has got special abilities, but mostly you're just like shooting, attacking. You can grab people, you can kick them into spike traps and stuff. Yeah. It's really cool in what it does. It's not a particularly long game, and I think you can play it. In fact, I think there are trophies for playing it multiplayer.
Awesome.
So again, another little one potentially to do a co-op with someone online if you want to try and work through. And it's got New Game Plus as well, and that's free. Right. In 3rd place, we have Just Cause 3.
The dumbest game alive.
Go on, Dan. What is Just Cause 3? Because I was never a Just Cause fan.
So Just Cause is basically a game built around blowing shit up in the most dramatic fashion possible. Half your weapons are explosives. Every car drives at like 1,000 miles per hour and will explode if it gets dinged. I think what 3 added that people particularly enjoyed.
The grappling, is it?
Partially the grappling. That's allowed to as well. You have a infinite supply, basically, of rocket boosters. So you can just attach rockets to shit. So a lot of the fun is, there's an explosive tank that I need to blow up. Or do I put rockets on the bottom of it and fire it into the sky with a fucking firework?
Beautiful.
Do I get out of a jet, put rocket boosts on the back, jump out of it and fire it into a base, land, blow up a tank, grapple 2 people together, so from opposite ends of the base, they slap into each other like a fucking comedy skit. It's a dumb sandbox. It's glorious. I fucking love Just Cause.
It's the Zelda game you always wanted. Number 2, we have A Plague Tale Requiem, which we've already discussed. And number 1, no shock, most points by a long way, was Resident Evil 2. It was like 1 point off of maximum points this month. But yeah, it's Resi 2. And surprisingly. So that's what we recommend for PS Plus. It's been a good month. There's a lot on there. It may be that you go, actually, Nobody Saves the World is for me. Maybe I want a tactic game and look at Shogun War. There's loads of stuff on there. Shadow Tactics, Blazing Shogun, not Shogun War. That's
Total
a different
War
game in
Shogun
time.
2.
Yeah. But that's what happened. That's January. Is there anything in February you're looking forward to?
Final Fantasy.
Final Fantasy 7 part.
Rebirth, I think it's what
Yeah,
it's
it's
called.
Rebirth.
And maybe Helldivers.
And maybe Helldivers
depending
2.
how it looks, yeah.
Helldivers 2.
Nothing new, really. I think for me, I would like to finish The Last of Us Part 1 and then potentially try number 2.
That'd be awesome.
So, yeah.
That sounds like a great month to have, to
Yeah.
be honest, play both of them for the first time. I, for some reason, was still waiting on Skull and Bones to try and be something good. But, you know me, I love a game that is going to be critically panned. And if you want to hear about critically panned games, that's going to be our next episode in 2 weeks' time. So do check that out. If you did enjoy this podcast, do check us out on our social medias at Discount Pod. That's on Instagram, where we also have our own individual ones at Discount Josh, Discount Cerys, Discount Darren, all with 2 C's.
Yeah, boy.
If you've enjoyed this and potentially go, I could do with a longer version of that. Check out our YouTube at Discount Pod, where it's on YouTube, along with a load of streams that we've done. So lots of stuff from the Dark Souls games to the Kingdom Hearts games to the Resident Evil games to all the games we discuss in our episodes, which we stream originally on Twitch at Discount Podcast. It's Discount Pod there as well. I was going to say podcast, it's just at Discount Pod, which we stream Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, all normally at 7 o'clock. So do check that out. And I think that is all the housekeeping. All that's left to say is thank you very much for being cool as always. Thank you for being our player force.
And don't buy Suicide Squad.
And don't buy Suicide Squad.
The PSA. Don't buy it.
Don't do it. If you're thinking about it, don't do it.
And also, Jim's a good guy.
Jim is a good guy.
Shout to Jim.
Catch you later, guys.